Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order.
It's just what downtown needed, right?
We are violating the Tim Harkin rule of starting meetings at 6 o'clock sharp. So, okay, can we all stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, I have a couple of comments. First, I'd just like to bring everyone's attention, the board's attention, to the committee assignment report, or a list of your current committee assignments. And we generally do an organizational, our January meeting will be our organizational meeting. So if you could take a look at what your current committee assignments are and consider whether you want to continue to serve or not serve. I don't need an answer tonight.
Oh, okay.
We'll do that in January. But whether you want to, again, serve or continue to serve on that committee, that would be great. Okay, and my second comment, and really the most important, is just to recognize Alan. This is going to be Alan's last meeting as a member of the board. Alan's been a long-term board member. I think you've served every possible role in this district, right? You were a teacher in the district, teacher, administrator, member of the board, and you're an active volunteer in the district. And that is, and you're married a teacher, right? From the district. So I think he's done everything. I'm not sure what more there is to accomplish. And Alan was on the board when I first came on. I think you beat me by a year or so, I guess, not too long. But I have always appreciated your participation and the contributions you've made to board meetings. You've been a great asset and resource for us, and I know from conversation with you, you're going to continue to volunteer at Dyke Newell for sure. Alan is the face of the cafeteria line at Dyke Newell. We're going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. And we certainly wish you well, and thank you very much for what you've contributed to this district. We do have a card and a gift for you, which I'll pass over. And thank you. And then I'll just open it up in case if there are other board members who want to say anything at this point.
Sure, I just want to say thank you, Alan, for everything. You certainly we live close to each other, so I got to hear a lot about what it meant to be on the board, and I appreciate all of your advice and talking about it. And of course, we'll continue to do that, but I really appreciate everything you've done for the district. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou. Any other board members want to add at this point?
Just a general thank you, Alan. Your words of wisdom, they are deep thought, and when they come, I always lean closer in to hear them. So thank you for all you've done for us.
And elder statesman here. Yeah. Not you, Al. You're much younger than I am. But I would like to thank you. It's truly been a pleasure working with you on the Facilities Committee, where you've had some really fine insights, and you just knocked my glasses off. And also on the Building Committee. And I know what Morse High and Bath mean to you, and it's special to have you there. And your opinions and view are very important to all of us. So thank you.
maybe last but not least, I would just say every decision Alan makes is in the best interest of students, and you can tell when he gets passionate about something, and it's very much appreciated. We certainly will not forget you when we open the doors at the new Morse High School and Vocational Center. For the rest of my career, when I look at Schedule B, and I don't care where I am, I'll always think of Alan.
Well, actually, his job isn't done because Alan's been asked to continue with the facilities committee and the Morse Building Committee. And that's a good point on Schedule B, so.
But thank you, Alan. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. So item 5.0, we have minutes from our, let me just get organized here a minute. We have minutes from our November 25th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? So motion by Motion by Bill, second by Lou. Any discussion, any corrections, comments on the minutes?
Yes. I'm never quite sure, but if I have a comment on one of the board reports, is that after this? You approve the minutes or not, or is that kind of within?
You mean a comment on one of the current board reports?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
When I-
this is just on the minutes.
Okay.
Well, you can comment on the board reports.
Okay.
You mean one of the building level reports, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
We'll give you a chance to address that.
Okay.
Any corrections? Comments on the minutes? No? Okay, thanks. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Item 6.0, any adjustments to the agenda? Patrick?
Just at 8.1, that was going to be a student presentation, and we have a sick staff member, or a staff member that has a sick child, and a couple other students aren't feeling well, so that will not happen tonight. We'll try to reschedule that.
Okay. So we're not going to do, 8.0 is off the agenda. We'll use that as a spot for you, Jen, to ask your questions. Okay, 7.0, our first public session. If anyone has any comments on issues directed to items on the agenda, if you could. No? If not, okay, thank you. All right, 8.0 is off the agenda, but we'll take this as an opportunity, Jen, to get your question on the committee report, or the building report.
So in the packet, we had a report back from Woolwich Central School specifically on the social work update, which is something I asked for, so I want to say thank you to Jason and to being able to respond to that request. And I also just wanted to say that I'm happy to hear that included in this report, he said that there's a referral process in place, so teachers are getting well served by the new staff, and the students, he's got a lot of listings of all the students that are being served here, so I was really nice that he was able to put this together for us, because it helps me know that that extra budgetary impact that we did is really having some good results. And it would be nice if we could just have maybe one more before the end of the year. But it was really wonderful having this, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Any other comments on any of the building reports that were included in the packet? No? Okay, 9.0, committee reports. 9.1, Patrick, building project update.
Yeah, as usual, you have a very detailed report with colorful pictures from our clerk of the works that tells you everything. But for the general public, we have interior walls that are starting to become framed out. So if you were to go out through a tour, it's starting to get real and exciting. Windows are being installed. I think we've have about 15 to 20 of our actual windows that have been installed at this point, but they're framed out, they're ready to go, so we just need more windows to show up at this point. Plumbing and electrical wiring is happening as we speak. After the holidays, our meetings are going to focus on furniture, equipment, technology. We're going to be going out to bid and start to purchase those items. And recently, in the last month, we've really been focused on access to the building, which is swipe key system, phones, PA system, and safety and security. So we're working through those pieces right now. But again, everything is on schedule and been very positive to date.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Any questions of Patrick concerning the building? Okay, thanks. 9.2, Katie, curriculum assessment and instruction update.
So I'm going to do a really quick introduction and have Lawrence Kovacs and Judy Mansfield come on up. So about just a little over 2 years ago when I started in this position and started working with these two who are 2/3 of our GT department in RSU1, we went on a field trip to another GT program, and they got really excited about a lot of what they saw. And for the good of our students, put together an entirely new program specifically for 4th and 5th grade RSU1 students to help with their transition to middle school, to help them have a better sense of the GT community and not just get services in their schools. And so I'm going to hand it over to these two so you can see what an amazing job they've done creating something called Gate Days, which is in year 2.
Thank you, Katie. I left my computer over there. I'm going to let Judy talk for a minute while I go grab it so I can run the slideshow from here. But she can talk about what the program is.
So Gate Day occurs once a month. We bring the kids from Phippsburg, Fisher Mitchell, and from Woolwich School, the 4th and 5th graders here. Well, sometimes here to BMS for the program. They were here last week. What week are we? Anyway, last week. And but we've also gone on one trip already this time, and in January we're going to the Maritime Museum, and our focus this year is all on the Arctic, global warming, and we're going to learn about the ice industry in Maine, so kind of a broad spectrum all about cold, which we have plenty of.
Yeah, so we've got 2 themes, and we're going to flip-flop. Since we do this with 4th and 5th graders, we will repeat those themes, so kids will never get the same theme twice. Ice is this year. Last year was the brain. Here's a picture of a student building a neuron model out of pipe cleaners. We try and start every morning with some fun activity. This is a game called Set. And then we get down to business and learn some stuff. What we liked about what we saw at the other district was it gives these kids who are coming from different schools the chance to work together and meet each other and interact in an intellectual environment where they're talking about learning and maybe being exposed to some new stuff. They are going to end up together at Morse High School, and this is a nice opportunity for them to get to know each other before they're in this cohort of smarty pantses. We also have tried really hard to utilize the resources in the community. Judy could speak at length about the Maritime Museum, where you have volunteered, I don't know how many, 45 years. We'll be going there. We're doing some stuff with Bowdoin College. I got a lot of help from some professors in the neuroscience department at Bowdoin College when I was writing the lessons for the brain portion. So this is just an idea of what we did for 4 of the sessions on the brain. I'm sorry, this is ice. What we're talking about with ice, we're looking specifically at how the change in climate is affecting indigenous cultures in the Arctic. We got to see some really amazing artifacts last month in the museum. We are going to go to the Maritime Museum to talk about the ice trade. We are also talking about explorers and Arctic exploration. Brain days. We tried to pick a specific sense for each day. We looked at different animals. We looked at some illnesses. We got to interact with 3D brain models. We did some experimentation. There's a famous, the Stroop effect, where you're looking at a color, but another color's name is written in a word, and you look at how that mixes up the signals in your brain. You want to talk about some of these?
Well, this is at the Arctic Museum at Bowdoin last month, and they're looking at the sledge that was Peary's that went to the North Pole. They're looking through glass. That's why it looks a little different. And this year we have 21 kids, 6 from Woolwich, I don't know how many from Phippsburg, and 3 from Phippsburg, and the rest from Fisher Mitchell. 5 from Phippsburg. And this was absolutely cool. We both love this. This is the raincoat that the Inuits make out of the intestines of the animals, because walruses, because the intestines keep the liquid where it belongs, in this case out. The kids were fascinated. And that's the narwhal. And they could touch a narwhal tusk that was in a container, so they were. And they got to see all the stuffed Arctic animals also. And then this last week we had a whole review on that, and they had to read a section on either one of the explorers, one of the animals, and then report back to the rest of the group, and the rest of them all took notes. And this is an Inuit with his sunglasses. And unfortunately, we ran out of time this week, which always happens. But they'll be very upset if the next time we meet here, they don't start the time making these. We were all prepared to make Inuit glasses, but Lawrence has his, but we don't have them yet.
These are just, we did a survey at the end of last year to say, what did you learn? So these are some of the things they shared. A number of kids talked about the fact that it was interesting that the way you understand visual data coming into your head is in the back of your brain, not the front of your brain. They were into the fight or flight survival response. They were interested in, anxiety causing you to go into the reptilian part of your brain. We also asked them, did you like this? Should we keep doing it? And yes was the answer. They really enjoyed the time. They wish they could do it more. They wish they could spend more time doing it. It takes a lot of logistical effort to get everybody there, but definitely feels like it was worth it. So I'm pretty sure that's my last slide. Do you have any questions for us about this?
Any questions from the board? You said it takes a lot of logistical effort to get them there. What are the limitations that you faced?
The big one is schedule. So you have to make sure that nobody's going to be missing another field trip. It's more, we're adding more to the school year, so we have to coordinate around that. But then there's also the buses, because we're bringing kids from Phippsburg, Fisher Mitchell, and Woolwich. And so getting the kids here, figuring out what they're going to do for lunch. Tim has actually been amazing in helping the kids understand how to buy lunch here, and the staff here has been great. It's sort of a big deal for them to go somewhere else to do their learning. And so the whole experience is something they remember, and things that we don't think very much of are probably a very big deal for them. So getting to go through the line and order pizza?
Triangle pizza.
Yeah. Triangle pizza. So those are some of the things we think about. And also, so Judy works 2.5 days theoretically. She really works like 8 days a week. But, and I'm working, I've got kids I'm teaching here, so we have to arrange for that as well. And also, Elise Copeland isn't here tonight, but she's also working with us on this. So we have to arrange for the kids who we would normally see at our schools.
Just a more general, broader question. How many kids are involved in gifted and talented programs in the district? Not just elementary and not just this.
So total,
Yeah.
I don't have that ready to deploy. I could look it up. This group is 21 kids. So if you extrapolate, approximately 10 kids per grade level.
All the way up through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the high school, we do not do direct programming. There's not enough of us, and those kids typically are taking AP classes and honors classes,
Yep.
and that's how
Okay.
they're stretching themselves. But yeah, I'd say without looking, somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 students.
Okay. Thanks. Any questions of Judy? No? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you
We
very much.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you come visit us anytime. And thank you, Katie, very, very much for your generous offer to take us on a field trip. And look what we've done. We really appreciate it. Oh, yes. Thank you for letting the kids eat lunch at Bowdoin. They are still restocking their ice cream stores.
Thank you. Okay, 10.0, student board representatives, Tanner and Hayden. Tanner, or Hayden, you want to go first, or Tanner, you want to go first? I don't care.
Hayden has a bit of a.
Oh, he can't talk.
Yeah.
so.
All right. So
That's unique, right? You can't talk.
we got the juniors and sophomores and freshmen got our PSAT scores back on December 9th, which was a nice little morale boost. Guidance is currently meeting with juniors to discuss plans for college and what you can do for next steps. Intramural floor hockey started a couple weeks ago, which is a good spirit-building athletic event. Also, obviously, tonight we have a basketball game, which made parking a fun challenge. And we also have wrestling, our wrestling team is doing very well right now. And we're looking forward to winter break.
Okay, thanks, Tanner. You can't even give us flashcards, Hayden? No? Just write it down and show us? No? Okay, thanks. Thanks for being here. Superintendent's report, 11.0, good news.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Morse student Isabel Strelnick for being selected to serve on the first Maine Department of Education student cabinet that was just put together. There were over 300 applicants that applied for this, and 32 students were selected. So these students, Isabel will attend a handful of meetings per year focused on team building, decision making, along with identifying key issues in education and innovative solutions. So congrats to Isabel, and we're very proud to have her representing RSU1. Next, I just wanted to make you aware, we talk about this every once in a while, but we do have 5 teachers in the district now that have completed national board certification, which is a very rigorous process. It's Joanne Powers, Kathy Henriksen, John Dever, Leslie Gallant, and recently Abby Lukes. And we also have 3 staff that are in progress, and this process usually it takes a couple years, sometimes it can take 3 or 4 years to complete, is Kelsey Frost, Larissa Costello, and Abby Deasy. So the process requires teachers demonstrate standards-based evidence of the positive effect they have on student learning in 5 areas, and I'll just mention these quickly. Commitment to students and their learning, knowledge of subjects and instructional delivery, managing and monitoring student behavior, reflection of their practice, and being a member of a learning community. So we're thrilled to have this many teachers in the pipeline and more that have expressed an interest, and it is a very big commitment. We also applaud the efforts of our staff that go on and get advanced degrees, but this is another process that is very well known across the country, and we're pleased that we have teachers that are taking advantage of this. And then lastly, our first newsletter with the help of Lindsay went out a couple weeks ago, and we've received a lot of positive feedback. So I'd like to thank her for her efforts, and we plan to do at least 3 this year, and starting next year, do 4. So any questions anybody has?
No? No questions for Patrick? Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, I do want to comment on on Lindsay's work and the newsletter. I think that certainly was a good decision, good recommendation from you, Patrick, and I think a good decision on the part of the board to invest that additional funding on our communications effort. I think hopefully we're reaching more people. I think from her report, Lindsay, the implication certainly is that we're getting out there on more social media outlets, and the pieces that she's putting out reflect a real high degree of professionalism, and that reflects back favorably on the board, at least, or on the RSU, at least from my perspective. So I think that's been a great recommendation and great movement on our part. Financial report, 11.2. And you're going to mention the audit, Deb?
Well, I'll have audit.
There, she did. She mentioned the audit.
You can read those this weekend. Ready for the Finance Committee meeting in January, right?
Great.
So tonight we're talking about November. It's 42% of the year has gone by, so we're in the 5th month. And we have spent $11.5 million. The big change you see on your financial report this month is the encumbered amount, and this projects salary and benefits for the remainder of the year, and that's close to $15 million. Revenue, we've brought in $13.6 million, which is 40%, so we're on target there. And as you know, you all have your audit in front of you. Hank, the auditor, will be at the Finance Committee in January, and our budget season will begin in January. So the board workshop is January 6th. I believe it's the 6th, right? And then non-labor budgets are due to me by January 17th. So the process will start for fiscal year 21. Morse High School, we've spent almost $31 million out of the 75, so that's 41%, and everything is going as planned there.
Thanks, Deb. Just on the high school expenditures, just from we essentially have the checkbook on that, right? I mean, we pay the bills. Does state ed, does DOE review the invoices and approve payment, or?
They approve every invoice before I process it. So, yeah.
So the assurance that the work that the invoice reflects is done becomes a joint?
Everything that comes through, anything from the architect, anything from any of these testing firms, they're all sent up to the state. They review all the detail, and then they'll come back to me and with their approval to pay, and then that's when I'll issue the check.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's good. They're the experts.
Yep, okay, thank you, thanks. Any questions of Deb? No? Yeah, take a look at read the audit report, at least the summary pages on those, and Hank always feels badly when there's no when there's no questions thrown his way. So hopefully at the Finance Committee meeting, we'll have some questions for him, so. Okay, 12.0, old business. Jen, do you want to walk us through the review of goals?
Sure. So we're continuing to monitor the Morse construction project, as you've heard tonight. Each board meeting, we get an update for that in terms of the process of what's going on in the actual site and also the financial response to that. So I think we're staying on top of that goal. I think that with reviewing the Lindsay's report, her first quarterly report, helps us address goal number 2 about increasing communication. I think that our response to intervention goal, we're continuing to research and work with our staff on that. I thought we also have a goal to review dropout, or to work on the dropout prevention program, and I did notice in the Fisher-Mitchell board report that there is continued work in that school, and there are goals being set and good work towards that and being able to reduce that rate. And then I know that we're working on our late start issue, but maybe I could ask the chair if we're going to get an update on that at some point in the future.
Patrick, I'll ask, or do you want to?
Yeah, we just had our, Katie and I just had our first meeting this school year, and there will be one in January, so with more details. So I would think probably the next board meeting we can give an update on where we are.
All right, thank you.
And on committee assignments, we can pen in Lou's name as having board
Yeah, I was gonna say it was in
responsibilities.
there, yeah.
So, any questions of Jen? No. 13.0, new business. 13.1, personnel items. Patrick?
Yeah, just to report one resignation, Jeff DeRosa, who's a special education teacher at Morse. He's been with us for 6 years, 6.5, I think, and we certainly will miss him. He's our second weatherman for the district, and but he's leaving to pursue his passion as a meteorologist, and we wish him the best. And then 2 retirements. David Igmanson, English teacher at Morse, has announced his retirement, and he's been at Morse for 40 years. And then Sue Sear is music teacher at Dyke Newell in Phippsburg, also retiring, and has been in RSU1 for 34 years. So I'd like to thank them both for their service to the district. They certainly will be missed.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Are these resignation or retirement resignation effective the end of the year?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have been clearer on that. Jeff is effective middle of January, and the retirements are effective at the end of the year.
Okay. So we have, I'll just ask the obvious question. So then with the resignation, we have a plan to fill in for those hours?
We do, and we're hopeful within hopefully a day or two of possibly having a new person in the system for Jeff, but we got to wait a few days.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick. Any questions on those 2 items? No. 14.0 public comment. Anybody have any comment on any issue? No. Thank you. 15.0, set the next meeting date and location. I just want to reiterate, I know Patrick has sent the information out, but there is that January 6th meeting. We'll get more information on it, but that's an opportunity for the board and the administrative team to meet and at a high level start to discuss budget priorities and goals for budget goals for the upcoming year. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 27th at the middle school, and we are going to, again, you received an email from Patrick a few weeks ago concerning the workshop on mental health issues, and we had a an individual professional in the community that Patrick and Katie would like to include on that agenda, and she was not available, so we agreed to push it off until January. But we will be scheduling that workshop, and I think she's agreed to the January date, so January we'll be having that workshop and probably use the same format that we used on our first effort. So we'll have a short a business meeting. We'll conduct as much business as we need to conduct for sure, and then after the business meeting, we'll move into the workshop, and we'll get information out to the public on that through our notification systems that we have, and hopefully get a good turnout and get good participation. Okay, if there are no other issues, I take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Bill, second by Lou. All in favor? Any opposed? No? Okay, thank you.